Hello, everyone. Everyone wants a comeback, but very few are willing to endure the silence that comes before it. The world celebrates the moment you rise, yet it never sees the days when nothing seems to be happening. It never sees the battles fought behind closed doors, where no applause exists and no one is watching. But that hidden season is where every unforgettable comeback begins. Life has a way of bringing every person to a moment they never expected. A moment when confidence disappears, plans fall apart, and the future suddenly feels uncertain. It is easy to believe that everything has been lost. Yet the greatest transformations never begin when life is easy. They begin when everything familiar has been stripped away, leaving only one question: who will you become now? Silence is uncomfortable because it removes every distraction that once kept your mind occupied. When life becomes quiet, there are no crowds to impress, no quick victories to celebrate, and no easy excuses to hide behind. You are left alone with your thoughts, your decisions, and the person staring back at you in the mirror. Most people spend their lives avoiding this moment because it forces them to face truths they have ignored for years. But the people who experience remarkable comebacks don't run from silence. They allow it to reveal everything that needs to change before they begin building something stronger. One of the greatest misunderstandings about success is the belief that it begins with opportunity. It doesn't. Success begins with preparation, and preparation almost always happens in private. Before a building rises into the skyline, countless hours are spent laying foundations that nobody will ever see again. Those hidden foundations determine whether the structure will stand for decades or collapse under pressure. Human lives are built the same way. The character you develop when nobody is watching becomes the strength that carries you when everyone finally starts paying attention. There comes a point when you realize that waiting for the perfect moment is simply another way of standing still. Many people spend years hoping life will suddenly become easier before they commit to changing themselves. They believe confidence will arrive first, followed by action. Yet life has always worked in the opposite direction. Action creates confidence. Every small promise you keep to yourself becomes evidence that you are capable of more than you once believed. Those promises may seem insignificant today, but repeated consistently, they begin transforming the way you see yourself. Real change is rarely dramatic. It doesn't arrive with fireworks or overnight success. It begins with ordinary choices that seem almost too small to matter. Choosing to learn instead of making another excuse. Choosing to improve instead of complaining. Choosing to remain patient when immediate results refuse to appear. These decisions don't attract attention because they look ordinary. Yet extraordinary lives are built from thousands of ordinary decisions made with extraordinary consistency. The future isn't changed by one perfect day. It is shaped by countless ordinary days used wisely. Nature has always understood something that people often forget. Before the tallest tree reaches towards the sky, it first stretches deep into the earth where nobody can see it. The stronger its roots become, the greater the storms it can survive. Imagine if that tree became impatient and demanded visible growth before strengthening what lay beneath the surface. The first strong wind would destroy everything it had built. Life follows the same principle. The quiet season isn't delaying your progress. It is strengthening the roots that your future will eventually depend upon. Perhaps the greatest challenge during this season isn't the work itself. It is resisting the temptation to seek constant proof that your effort is paying off. We naturally want reassurance that we're moving in the right direction. We look for quick results, immediate recognition, and visible progress. When those things fail to appear, discouragement begins whispering that nothing is changing. But not every meaningful transformation announces itself straight away. Some of the most important changes happen gradually, hidden beneath daily routines that seem almost insignificant. Day after day, those small improvements accumulate until one morning you realize you have quietly become someone who thinks differently, acts differently, and responds to life differently. The world often mistakes visibility for progress, but they are not the same thing. A person can attract endless attention while making no real progress at all. Another can spend months working quietly, improving steadily, and preparing for opportunities that haven't yet arrived. One builds an image, The other builds a life. Images fade as quickly as they appear, but character continues growing long after attention has disappeared. The strongest comeback is never built on the opinions of other people. It is built on the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are becoming stronger with every passing day, even when nobody else can see it. There will come a day when life quietly tests everything you've been building, not with a warning, but with an unexpected challenge that asks one simple question: did you truly change, or did you simply wait for better circumstances? That moment will reveal more about you than years of comfort ever could. The old version of yourself would have reacted with frustration, doubt, or fear. But the person you've been shaping during the quiet season responds differently. Not because life suddenly became easier, but because your perspective became stronger. The struggle that once controlled your emotions no longer controls your decisions. That is the first sign that your comeback is already happening. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that a comeback is a single moment. They imagine one opportunity, one achievement, or one victory that changes everything overnight. Real comebacks don't happen in a day. They are built one decision at a time until the person making those decisions is no longer the same individual who first began the journey. Long before the world notices any success, your habits have already changed. Your standards have become higher. Your patience has grown deeper. Your mindset has become steadier. The victory everyone eventually sees is simply the visible result of an invisible transformation that has been taking place for months. As your character grows, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop chasing approval because you no longer need other people to confirm your worth. You stop rushing your progress because you understand that meaningful things take time to develop. Instead of comparing your life with someone else's timeline, you become fully committed to your own. Every day becomes another opportunity to learn, improve, and move forward, no matter how small the progress may seem. There is a quiet confidence in people who trust the process. They don't waste energy proving themselves. They invest that energy becoming the kind of person who no longer has anything to prove. Eventually, opportunities begin appearing again, but this time they feel different. The difference isn't the opportunity itself. The difference is you. The person who once doubted every decision now acts with clarity. The person who once feared every setback now understands that challenges are part of growth. The person who once looked for shortcuts now appreciates the value of preparation. What once seemed impossible now feels achievable because you have spent your silent season becoming capable rather than simply becoming hopeful. Success doesn't surprise you anymore because you've already done the difficult work long before the reward arrived. When people finally notice your progress, many will assume they missed only the ending. They will believe your success happened quickly because they never witnessed the countless ordinary days that made it possible. They didn't see the mornings when you chose discipline over comfort. They didn't see the evenings when you kept learning after everyone else had stopped. They didn't see the moments when you refused to settle for the person you used to be. They see the result, but they never see the process. That's why your greatest satisfaction will never come from their applause. It will come from knowing exactly what it took to become the person standing before them. One day you'll look back at this quiet chapter and realize it was never empty. It was filled with lessons that couldn't have been learned any other way. It taught you patience when progress was slow. It taught you resilience when challenges refused to disappear. It taught you discipline when motivation came and went. Most importantly, it taught you that lasting strength is never borrowed from circumstances. It is built from within, one faithful decision after another. The silence you once feared became the place where your future was quietly taking shape. If you remember one thing from this message, remember this: your comeback is not waiting somewhere in the future. It begins the moment you choose growth over excuses and consistency over comfort. Don't become discouraged because nobody notices your progress today. The strongest foundations are always built before anyone sees the finished masterpiece. Keep improving when the results are invisible. Keep believing when the journey feels long. Keep moving forward with patience and purpose, because one day the life you build in silence will become the evidence that every difficult season was preparing you for something greater. Thank you for watching. If this message spoke to your heart, Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more powerful motivational and inspirational speeches. Be better every day.